Good afternoon, everyone. Hello and welcome to my show, My Turn to Talk. I am Solid Blue Sister, and today is Monday, June 7th, 2021. Well, a lot of things are going on in the news this past weekend. The former guy returned back to the stage, but we're not going to talk about him today because he's irrelevant. So let's get started. And today I want to talk about Karens. Now, I talked about Karens on another show. I talked about Karens and, Becky's and Miss Ann's, but I want to talk about Karens in the 21st century in 2021, the last 4 years of Karens. And Karens have been responsible for hurting innocent people. And when I say hurt, I don't necessarily mean physically, but I do mean where Karens have made it hard for some people to enjoy things like the park, bird watching, things that I've already talked about, in another show. So my question today is, should Karens be sued? Should innocent people have the ability to sue a Karen or an establishment that calls the police on someone based on the way they look or what they think they're going to do? And usually, these people are basically, just, trying to go about their day, minding their own business. So my question is, should Karens be sued? Should people like this be sued if you call someone to get arrested? And even if this person, even if you call the police and, someone is in handcuffs for maybe 10 minutes, that's very traumatizing to some people. So you are causing harm. If people like that, if Karens in a business or whomever knew that if you call someone and say, my life is being threatened, I'm scared, then you specifically, this Black man, this Black woman, this, Asian man, this Latino man, this Asian woman, this Latino woman. If you specifically call it out like that, should Karens and Kens be sued? Would the incidents lessen or stop if they knew that they could be sued successfully? Or maybe just, put something out there where maybe it's $100,000 fine if you call in something to the police and it's not true, that it's automatically $100,000 fine or something, and you knew you had to pay that. And if you didn't pay it, it would come out of your taxes or something. Would that stop people from doing what they're doing? Would it? I don't know. I know in this country, everybody wants to sue. You put your finger on my car, I'm suing you. you know, you you know, you looked at me the wrong way. I'm going to sue. But if a Ken or Karen knew that they could be sued for a certain amount of money for calling in a false or fake complaint, would it make them think twice? Or if you accuse someone of doing something and you're obviously lying, you know, I know the people who live here, how dare you, you know, write something, you know, or stencil something on their property. I know the person that lives there. Well, no, you don't, because I live here. So again, you're attacking me with words. You may not be coming at me physically, but you're attacking me with words. You are attacking who I am. You are attacking my credibility. Should these people be sued? You know, you look back and the first thing that Karens want to do to really make it sound like they're in danger is they want to call out color. They just can't say, I'm at the park, there's a man in a blue shirt who is threatening me. They don't do that. They make a point of pointing out color. They make a point of pointing out what someone's skin color looks like. See, that's the dig. That's the dig. You know, it isn't the fact that someone is barbecuing in the park. It's when you put the color in there, that's the dig. And usually these are people who, I mean, Kens and Karens, they're trolls. They're trolls. You have nothing better else to do than to accuse someone. So my question is, should they be sued? Should they be penalized for doing what they're doing? Because doing that can also get these innocent people killed. You had a young man in 2019 who had a covering over his face. Walking down the street, coming back from the store, someone called on him. He's suspicious looking. The police, you know, he struggled with the police because he's like, what did I do wrong? He's, you know, he doesn't know what was going on. So the police decided to give him, I do believe it was ketamine, and they gave him an overdose of it, and the young man died. Now that was like October of 2019. Fast forward to March of 2020, and we're all wearing masks. So the person who called that in, how do you feel? And you can honestly say, well, someone's walking down the street with a face covering over their face. That looks suspicious. But he's carrying a bag of groceries, minding his own business. or two gentlemen are minding their own business at Starbucks. Someone calls it in, one of the managers at the store, they call it in. There are these two black guys causing trouble. They weren't causing trouble. They were sitting down at a table, minding their own business, waiting for a friend. Don't we all go to restaurants? We're sitting there waiting for someone. Haven't we all done that? Or if all of us haven't done that, haven't some people done it? Haven't we, stood on a corner, waiting for someone, to show up? Haven't we gone to a store or stood in front of a store waiting for a friend? So does that mean that I'm a suspicious looking person because I'm standing there? Or if I'm sitting in my car, I could be sitting in my car on my cell phone, having lunch, drinking coffee. I don't know how many times, I pulled over on the side of the road, or pulled into a parking lot. To take a phone call. So I'm not driving and talking on the phone like you're not supposed to. Is someone gonna, call the police on me and say I'm suspicious looking? Or a gentleman is bird watching? And a woman, as she's choking her dog, is saying specifically calls out color. That's the dig. This black man is threatening me as she's approaching him, as she consistently approaches him. Or trying to get into your apartment and someone's standing, blocking the door, demanding to see your key fob. I don't know who you are. You're dangerous. You could do something to me. And when you finally gain access to your own apartment building, the person follows you on the elevator, the person who are saying to you that you could do something to them, that you're dangerous. They don't know who you are. They're following you on the elevator, and they get on the elevator with you alone. What's wrong with this picture? So to these people, I say, these are the ones I'm talking about. Should these people, these innocent people, be able to sue Karens and Kens? Should they be able to do that? I say yes. I say make it a blanket $100,000, if not more. And if these people know they pick up the phone, and this is and not just for Kens and Karens, for anyone who picks up the phone and makes a false phone call that someone is threatening their life, someone, that you're just downright lying, and you have a police officer or police officers come, plural, and they're questioning this innocent person because of something that you said, and may cause this person to be arrested. Maybe they're let go a couple hours later, or maybe it escalates into something else, and this person is seriously hurt or injured, or they die. I don't care if I'm in handcuffs for 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes too long for something that I did not do. When you're in school, when you're in grammar school, you have children who are tattletelling on each other. You know, that's one thing that I can never abide, or tattletales. If you're going to tattletale over something like, you know, Johnny took the last crayon, that's a tattletale. But if you're going to tell me something where, you know, you know, Johnny is using a staple gun and he's shooting it at people, okay, tell me. But when you're young, you learn the difference between being a tattletale and speaking up about something that's important, something that could hurt someone. So when you get older, when you get into high school, or even middle school, and you're that bully. You're that bully that always wants to, you know, pick on someone who's weaker or beat up on someone who is weaker. My question is, should your parents be held accountable and have to pay a fine to the person that your kid is hurting? I don't mean like, okay, here's $100. No, should they seriously have to pay a fine to the injured party? Will that stop? Because when you start digging into people's pockets, when you start touching their money, people start to pay attention a little bit more because you're messing with their money. So if we start, you know, having rules where if you bully someone, if your child bullies someone in school, you are financially responsible to the person that they're bullying. You have to pay. So if my kid is bullying your kid, and it's proven, and a lot of times bullying is proven, but you have a lot of school districts that don't want to go there because they don't want to get sued. But by not going there, they're getting sued anyway. But not just sue the school system, sue the bully's parents. Will that stop your kid? Will that make it, put it in your head to talk to your kid and tell them to knock it off? If they have to pay a substantial fine, if I have to pay someone $25,000 because my kid bullied your kid, would that stop? Is that how we get rid of bullies? And in school, it's become an epidemic. And a lot of it has to do with social media. The things that people can say and post about someone else. And when you're bullying someone to the point, especially a child, and you're bullying someone to the point where they kill themselves, oh, it goes past paying a fine. It goes past paying $25,000, $30,000 to the injured party. Your child should be put in jail. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. I don't want to hear, oh, kids will be kids. Yes, kids will be kids. Yes, kids do pick on other kids. Yes, oh, you know, you're funny looking, or your clothes look funny, or whatever. But when you just either come to school every day and you're physically touching people, or you're saying things about people that are not true, you know, you're, you know, impairing someone's reputation, there's a problem. So if I have to make you pay out of your pocket, will that make you stop? These politicians out here who are out there talking about people's wives and children, or just downright lying. Should the injured party have the ability to sue? Should the injured party automatically get a certain amount of money? You attacked my family. unjustly. You have to pay me X amount of dollars. And if you don't pay me X amount of dollars within a certain amount of time, you go to jail. Now, if we did something like that, would a lot of these politicians stop doing what they're doing? With the nastiness in politics start to die down? I don't know. And as I've said before, we are only here for a short time. Our time on earth is very, very short. Yes, you hear, of here, on the West Coast, you had a 6-year-old boy who was shot over some road rage. The perpetrators were aiming at another car, but instead they shot a little boy who was on his way to school with his mother. 6 years old, he's dead. So he was here for 6 years on this earth, 6 short years. Anything can happen at any time. You could walk out of your house and get hit by a car. And with these mass shootings going on, you can go to the grocery store and get milk, and some crazy person, in the cereal aisle is pissed off at somebody else and starts shooting, and you get hit in the crossfire. We are here for such a short time. So do we really need to spend our time bullying people? Calling the police on people who haven't done anything? With so many other problems that we have in this world, you're going to spend your time calling someone, because they asked you to put a leash on your dog at the park? There are many times when, I walk my dog and I see people who have their dogs not on a leash. And I do say, you need to leash your dog. And some people get upset with me. Mind your own business. Oh, okay. Well, it just so happened that about 2 years ago, my dog that was on a leash was walking by this home where many people have said that they needed to get a better gate because of this huge German Shepherd that they had. Well, I'm walking my dog past this house. Usually you can hear the dogs. I didn't hear them. I thought they're in the house or whatever. And out comes running these 3 dogs with this huge German Shepherd in the lead. He bites my dog, the one that's on the leash, the one that I have, my dog on a leash. Bites my dog 3 times. I'm trying to fight this dog off. The people came out, they were sorry. My dog has these deep bite marks in his back and on his neck. I'm freaking out. I go back home, take my dog to the vet. Came back to their house, gave them the bill. They paid it, but I also called animal control, and their dog was put down. Now, I feel sorry for the dog because it was the owner's fault. But at the same time, that dog was also known to be dangerous. And they also got cited for that gait. So, what do you do with the people who don't leash their dogs and other people get attacked? I didn't sue them or anything. They paid the vet bill, which was a hefty bill. They immediately paid it. I was lucky on that regards that I didn't have to go to court to try to fight for that. And they were truly sorry. And they understood why I called animal control. And they even admitted that whenever they would walk that dog, they literally had to tell people, can you please walk on the other side of the street because we have a hard time controlling our dog. And they have been cited many times. So if people who walk their dogs without leashes, or people who allow their children to play in the street and then all of a sudden a car is driving by and your child is playing in the street, or near the curb or the corner where they can easily get hurt, and either you're not around or you don't care because your kid's playing in the street, and your child gets hit by a car, is it the driver's fault or is it your fault? Because you should be paying attention to your child. So if you sued parents for this, and some people may think that I'm crazy. Oh, you're going to sue somebody because, they're not, because their kid is playing out front. No, I'm suing you because you are not being responsible because you're not watching your child that is playing out front. And if your child is playing out front, why are they in the street? Now, some people can say growing up, or even now, kids play in the street all the time. Does it make it right? No, it doesn't. So what happens when Mr. Jones is backing out? He's looking, both ways. He's looking behind him. He's looking in the rearview mirror. He's backing out. But little Johnny is playing in the street with his friends. And little Johnny gets in that blind spot. And Mr. Jones backs over him with his car. Now you can say, well, Mr. Jones still should have been careful. He was the driver. True. But little Johnny was playing in the street. And the street is not a playground. So can I find those parents? Or is Mr. Jones going to have a mark on his driving record that he ran someone over? So these are the things that I'm talking about. So when I say, those Kens and Karens out there that, while you're calling someone out, and you're calling them out because of color, or you're that bully, or you have that kid that's that bully, or even that kid that's playing in the street or the unleashed dog. What is your responsibility? What should you be doing? I have 3 dogs. And each one of them I can say, oh, He's harmless. She's harmless. They won't do anything. And for the most part, they won't. But if they're around someone they don't know, I'm putting a leash on them. Because in the end, they're still a dog. In the end, something can trigger them. And they want to run off after your dog or whatever and try to bite you. In the end, it's still my responsibility, even when they're on the leash. My kid is my responsibility when they're out and about. If my kid goes into a store and knocks a vase off of the shelf and it breaks, even if it was an accident, guess who's paying for it? Me. I have to pay for it. So should you have to pay if you do something wrong? Should police officers have to pay if they pull someone over or they stop someone knowing that they did not do anything wrong? Should they have to pay? I say yes. I don't want to hear that you have a quota. You have to, give that there is a quota that you have to fulfill. I don't care about your quota. Don't stop me if I didn't do anything wrong. So if police officers had to pay, if they had to give up money, and if they didn't pay for it, they couldn't pay for it all in one lump sum, but they only had maybe 4 months to pay off this, 25,000. 25,000 is just stuck in my head, but a $25,000, fine to the injured party, and it comes out of your paycheck or your taxes. Will that stop some of these traffic stops that are ridiculous or illegal? In 2015, there was a man who was stopped. I do believe they were stopped in Texas, and he had Michigan plates. He was an African-American man. And when he noticed a police officer behind him, he immediately started recording. When he turned left, the police officer turned left. When he turned right, the police officer turned right. So finally, the man just pulled over on his own. And the police officer pulled over behind him, got out of the car, and the African-American gentleman said, "Why are you following me? What did I do wrong?" Police officer replied, "You made an illegal turn because you didn't signal 100 feet prior to making the turn." Okay. I think that I did. And the police officer said, "No, you didn't." So the gentleman asked him, "Why didn't you turn your signal on? You've been following me for like 10 minutes. And the police officer said, "Because you look me directly in the eye. You look me in the eye That's why I followed you. And the gentleman's like, you're behind me. How can I look you in the eye? And the officer said, it's illegal to look a police officer in the eye. Well, the officer said, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm giving you this citation. But the citation wasn't for staring at him. The citation was for the not turning on his turn signal 100 feet before. So they went back and they looked at the cameras, and the officer was right. Even though the driver did turn on his signal before the stop sign and before he made the turn, it wasn't 100 feet. But they ended up going to mediation instead of going to court. And it wasn't for the traffic citation, for the lane change or the signal. It was because the officer lied and said that it was against the law to stare a police officer or look a police officer in the eye. What are we? Are we back on the plantation? You're not supposed to look massa in the eye? Come on. Should that police officer been fined? I say yes. See, the first thing people want to do with people in authority, this includes teachers, you can even say, if you're working at a grocery store or whatever, the first thing they want to say, oh, we need more training. Is it training, or is it common sense, or is it just the fact that you know what you should and should not do? What, the difference between right and wrong and where you're overstepping. I mean, I don't know. So I say, if, some of these people are fined for lying, for telling an untruth, for bullying, no matter who you are, no matter what colors you wear, what badges you hold, what titles you hold, whatever political party you're in, you need to be fined. If you hit someone in their wallet, maybe it'll stop. Maybe it'll lessen. I know it'd be a lesson to me. I mean, you just can't you just can't go around, accusing people of something or telling people that something is law when it's not, just for your benefit or just because of who you are or whatever power you think you hold. It just isn't right. So I'm going to go back to Karen's and Ken's. And I want to talk about Black Karens and Black Kens, because we do have them. Usually you see those who are in stores, who may be complaining about something trivial. And you keep going on and on and on and on and on to a store clerk or something that's not true. Those people need to be fined. I don't know. So again, I say, people, we're here for a short time. Anything can happen and our lives are over, be it by a gunshot because of road rage, or even if you live to be a ripe old age of 100. We're still here for a very short time, and we have so many other things that we could be doing that are positive instead of, you know, calling in and reporting someone for something that they didn't do, that wasn't true, or because you're on a power trip. We're only here for a very short time. So again, I say, is hitting someone in the pocketbook, in their wallet, will that hopefully stop some of the things that we've been seeing over the last, few years? So this was going to be a short show today because I have another show to jump on, but I want to say thank you for listening, and always speak your truth. I am Solid Blue Sister. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.